Good morning. Can you hear me? Welcome, everyone. Please take a seat. Come closer if you want, in case there are latecomers today. Welcome, everyone. My name is Anna Stoppa. I'm working at Middelheim Museum as Assistant Curator, and today I will be the moderator of this symposium. First of all, I want to thank you all for your interest in the topic, in this subject, and for making time today to come here and share your thoughts and experiences. I hope we will have enough time for this. We are quite a lot of people today, so it will be nice to have a moment where we share it. So first of all, I want to thank the Royal Academy of Fine Arts for hosting us today. Special thanks to Johan and Nico for helping and hosting us today. As you might know, the Royal Academy of Arts of Antwerp is also part of the project. We will talk about it later. And now I'm going to give a quick recap of the day. On the seats, you find the program. We will go quickly through it. And we will see how the times goes. We are starting quite late, so let's see. I will keep a good time of it. First, we will have an introduction by Johan, the Dean of the Royal Academy of Arts here in Antwerp, who beside his role as a lecturer, researcher, and art historian, is also a founder of CRAP, the collection of research of artist publications. Johan today will quickly introduce a kind of artist publication, not a user guide. You have it also on your seats. We will have later also a parallel session with Nico Dox. Nico Dox is himself not only a visual artist, he's much more great graphic designer, curator, and also publisher of an independent publishing house called Curious. Right after, we will welcome the words of Sara Weyns, the director of the Middelheim Museum here in Antwerp, a curator also with whom I find myself talking about artist publications very often. We will have then, we will straight to two presentations. The first one is the reason why we are here today, and it's the need of the Middelheim Museum and its library and its collection to have works of artist publication digitalized. So this is part of a research project that lasted 2 years, where we come today in one of its parts to share what has been going on. For this, we will have Sara Clissen, project coordinator and librarian at Middelheim, together with Verle Meul, head of collection at the Middelheim Museum. They will both guide us through what happened in the last 2 years, what has been done, and what the future might lead to. After a short break, don't forget we need to have breaks. We will listen to Gustavo Gandial Montero, the library collections and engagement manager at Tate London. He's coming, so I hope we will find him in time. He's arriving. He's arrived. Okay, perfectly. Gustavo will have a presentation about collecting artist publications in two institutions. Here we are, across the street, talking about specifically the Tate Modern and the Chelsea College of Arts Library. Then quickly, we will have lunch, about an hour between 12:15 and 1:15. We will have a quick introduction, and then we will have parallel sessions. I hope you are all registered. If not, just right after the session of the morning, come to us, and we will see if there's still a place or to put you in one of the sessions. We will have Johan Pass and Nico Dox that will test the manual. So maybe it's good to take a look during the lunch break if you have time, if you're doing the session. Sara Clissen and Jasper de Ridder, who is the collection register of the Middelheim Museum, we will do a catalog demonstration showing how they've been working on the catalogization during this time. And finally, Alison Norton from Moderator will come with all of her experience as a conservator in paper conservation. And she will, for which she has worked for more than 20 years, and she will discuss together with Verlemel about strategies to involve the public in the collection. At the end of this day, you might have a lot of thoughts, a lot of things you want to share, and I encourage you to do it along the way or during lunch break, during coffee break, but I also warmly invite you to put down some notes for the Q&A that we will have later with our panelists. The panel session will start right after the parallel sessions at 3 o'clock. We will have Gustavo Grandal Montero, Mika Gregescu, Head of Research and Scientific Programming of the Bibliothèque Kandinsky in Paris, Annette Manja, Head of the Center of Artist Publication in Bremen, and Nico Dox. So, I spoke too much for now. I leave the words to Johan, and I'll come back later.
Thank you very much, Anna. Good morning, everybody. I'm proud and happy to welcome you as the Dean of the Academy of Fine Arts in Antwerp. This school this year has its 360th anniversary. Yes, indeed. But first of all, I'm here not as the Dean of the Academy, but as a scholar and lover and addict of artist publications. So I'm quite excited about seeing you all here. All of you kind of specialists and peers and also maniacs in the field of art and artist publications. So it's good to have you together. This is a strange group of people actually still clinging to paper and rarities and precious publications and trying to bring them into the public. So first, a very short trigger alert. The title of this meeting today, as far as I'm concerned, is wrong on artist publications and how to manage them, because managing artist publications seems a stupid thing to do. They will manage themselves. So I don't think we should manage artist publications, but we should try to find ways to conserve them and to disclose them and to keep them for future generations. As we all know, paper and print is under threat. Digital revolution and so on. So it's our task actually to conserve artist publications and to disclose them and share them with other people, not managing them. However, today I think we will think about possibilities of keeping, conserving, collecting and sharing them in the best ways possible. Nico Dox and I, 1.5 years ago, were sweating our brains out in the library of the Middelheim Museum. It was a hot summer and we were screening the whole collection on artist publications. Physically, we selected 1,700 titles during 3 weeks of hard labor. And using that collection, we tried to define and give a specification on what artist publications in the museum collection are today. The result was a series of 5 lectures, of which is the final one. This is number 6. And also a small publication which we are very happy to offer you today. It was delivered yesterday evening, so we had a lot of time actually. A kind of a which actually tends to be not an artist publication, but a manual for people working in the field of collections and libraries to be able to define an artist publication and to kind of specify between certain types of them. Without controlling them, without domesticating them, we hope to offer a little bit of, an introduction. The publication is written in English and in Dutch. It contains a huge bibliography, which is literally at the center of the book, which is not complete, but which waits to be completed by you. And it also contains illustrations of 25 publications that are discussed in detail and are also presented here in this gallery. So basically what you hold is also the catalog for the small pop-up exhibition that you will be seeing there. So I'd like to give the floor now to Sara. And I wish you an exciting and enjoyable day. Thank you.
Thank you, Johan. Hello, hello. So wonderful to see you all. It is also my pleasure to welcome you here on behalf of Middelheim Museum as a co-host of the symposium, whose title I will from now on never repeat again. Like all that is brought together in an interesting collection, I think artist publications have innumerable merits in their own right. But when you assemble them in a collection, the whole doesn't quite equal the sum of the parts. It becomes a new thing, a kind of ecosystem, if you will, an intricate web of exchanges, relations, similarities, and differences. Each part has its function and its place within the whole, adding to its affluence and its liveliness. But how to navigate this ecosystem? How can we learn from it? And how can we, as Johan said, share it with others? For the last 2 years, we, and if I say we, I mean mostly you, have been drawing a set of maps for the exploration of these ecosystems of artist publications, identifying them, researching their context and their form, and looking for roadmaps to get access to them, also digitally. What these maps look like and what you will find by using them, you will learn in the course of the day, I'm sure. I am here to tell you something about the people that have made the maps, and more importantly, to thank all of them. I'll introduce them very quickly. There were some partners who were in it for the long run. The Flemish community and the city of Antwerp, who have generously supported the project. MIMO, which is the Flemish Institute for Digital Archives. They dedicated Lise Ruts, Alina Senko, and Ronnie Vissers to the project. And of course, the ever inventive and creative Johan Pas and Nico Dox, steering our primary project partner ArchiVolt, a research group here at the Academy of Fine Arts, together with their co-worker Inge Boogmans. And then there were the highly appreciated members of 3 different peer groups, working from different libraries, different institutions, and sharing our questions and our queries. There was Evie Bert, Sophie Frederiks and Bjorn Scherlippes of MUCA, Mieke Lietaar, Natasha Schouterde, Marlou de Bond and Alexandra Noel of the Hendrik Conscience Library. There was Tanja de Boer of the Kruller-Müller Museum in Holland. There was Karen André from Kunst op de Campus, the collection of the University of Antwerp. There was Susanna de Schepper and Tom de Meij of ANET, which is part of University of Antwerp, but also the institution that facilitates our library software. There was Sarah Moens, David Koppolse and Jeroen Kortvriend from the Flemish Heritage Libraries. Jet Blokhuis and Anna Bulow of Stedelijk Museum Amsterdam. Suzy Kasterman of the Art Library in Ghent. And, I'm taking a breath here, Annelies Valgare, Jurgen Schets and Lieselotte Bertels, our colleagues working in the digital collections of the city of Antwerp. To you all who are here, and also if you are not here, please allow me to express our gratitude and to thank you all tremendously for the time, the expertise, and the energy that you devoted to the project. I am quite sure that it will have an impact far beyond this day and this place. I would be remiss if I would not also take a beat to thank the team of my Middelheim Museum for their constant care and attention for this project. Veerle Meul, our ingenious head of for collections, initiating the project. Jasper de Ridder, Sabine de Wolf, and our volunteer Jan de Ridder, working together with our brand new librarian, Sara Klisse, who will be starting in a few weeks in her new position. Sara will be able to build on the many years of dedication, patience, and vision of Marina Verhoeven, who will be leaving us this year to go and enjoy some much-earned time off. And last but not least, you've met her, Anna Stoppa, one of the curators at Middelheim Museum, who will guide you expertly through the day. I suggest you give them a warm round of applause, and I give the floor to Anna.
Thank you, Johan and Sara, for this nice introduction. So we are warming up for the day. There are already some interesting things we can discuss about. I hope you will keep them with you until the end of the day. I want to, before we dig into the presentations, I want to remember you the reason why we started the project at the Middelheim Museum, and this might be a way of reflecting through also your experience to what might be happening in the future of conservation, acquisition, and this digitalization of artist publications. You will see during the day there are many questions that are coming about what it means to register a collection, what it means to valorize it, and what it means to share it, to make it available. And I hope we will come up with some more questions, because as you know, the topic of artist publications is ever evolving, never ending, and I hope we will have some more questions, some more thoughts, and some more ideas to change things in an organic way through adjustments. Right before we go to the next presentation, just two little practical things. You might have seen it. There's water, coffee, tea behind you, and if you need to use the toilets are at the end of the corridor on your right, or here behind the stairs, in case you don't know the academy. I leave it now to Verle and to Sara for their presentation, and we will talk later. More.
Good morning to everybody. I'll already start. Great to see you all, and to share our quest through this complex and challenge of managing or giving access to this interesting collection in our library. It's a small library. I'm sure when you heard the name of Middelheim Museum, those who know it already, they will not think immediately of publications. We are a sculpture park, and apart from our robust outdoor sculptures, we also manage hidden and fragile collections. We have a collection of small indoor sculptures, multiples, drawings, prints, photographs, videos, and so on. But by numbers, our largest collection is the library collection of approximately 50,000 items. Since its origin in 1950, our museum collected publications in parallel to the museum work as the main strategy to prospect and scout sculptures, because traveling was too expensive and there was no internet. Publications were purchased or exchanged with museums and galleries worldwide. Many were donated also by art institutions, by galleries, and also by artists. They often bring them physically themselves. Since 1976, Documentation Center Lode Krijbeks, that is the official title, aimed to be a study center for modern and contemporary sculpture and public art from the 1870s till the present day. It's a specialized, thematic and scientific library for researchers, policy officers, artists, students and teachers, mediators in the museum, but also focus-seeking visitors. A 2007 interview with our former librarian Onzia, he mentions that the library received many art students looking for ideas and inspiration. I quote and I translate literally. He said, vreemde vogels, sometimes strange birds, searching in a non-structured way, but looking and browsing in the books. They enter the library without having an idea what they need. Sometimes they found something completely more or different from what they had in mind, and they left with a eureka feeling, with a new and a broader view. The article continued, due to the rise of the internet and online cataloging, the total number of visitors diminished dramatically. The librarian stated that these systems fail drastically in this associative, intuitive, non-structured search of the collection. 15 years later, now, we see digital, I'll come back to this point already, but 15 years later now, we see the digital systems or registration as one of the main strategies to enhance online and physical access, to attract new visitors, and to link also this great hidden collection to our visible collections, such as the sculptures. And since then, impressive cataloging work has been done by our small but fantastic library team. But extra efforts were needed to address a huge backlog of uncatalogued publications. We were twice fortunate to receive project grants for digitization of cultural heritage by the Flemish Government. The first project was exhibited at Middelheim, and it covered the registration of exhibition catalogs in the library. They're now searchable online, and they attract researchers, also auction houses and colleagues from all over the world. Our largest and most consulted library collection are the publications on artists, but also with artists and by artists. I'll speak of this bigger group in the beginning. This collection has an incredible potential for developing its different values to many stakeholders. I have no time to elaborate on this interesting topic, but as any collection strategy, this starts with the identification, selection, and with registration. You have to know what you have. This was the subject of our second granted project, Kunstenaarspublicaties, and it enabled us to recruit first Sabine de Wolf and afterwards Sara, project coordinator, who will give an overview of her great work so far. Thank you, Sara.
So, thank you, Veerle. So, the project Kunstenaarspublicaties is a catch-up digital project, catch-up digital collection data project by creating and unlocking metadata of publications about, with, and by artists. So, we explored this on two levels. First of all, on a library level, so by cataloging, which we already did before the start of this project, and the second level, on object level, which we didn't before this project. Central to this project was the development and sharing of expertise around the data profile, as well as a description and disclosure at sub-collection level. So this project, like Johan or Sara already mentioned, started in 2020 and will end this December. And we were supported by Memo. So this sub-collection focused on this project focused on three sub-collections. I'm gonna explain the colors a little bit. So the yellow color refers to the estimated number of publications. The blue color refers to the registration at library level, so the cataloging. And the green color refers to the registration at object level. And like you can see, there isn't any green color because there isn't any registration at object level being done. So our first and biggest sub-collection is the artist monographs, which are publications about a particular artist. So we have an estimated number 15,200, and about 87% of that number was already registered at library level. It's difficult to do it like this. So we also have the Preciosa, a collection of publications grouped by former colleagues because of their special formats or considered to be precious and rare. These are separately kept in closed cabinets, and this collection is registered at a library level, the whole collection. And then the last sub-collection included in this project are documentation folders containing ephemera, which are invitations, posters, postcards. The estimated number is unknown. What we do know is that we have 8,600 documentation folders, which aren't registered at any level. And this project has 4 phases and 3 work packages on identification, data profile, conservation and management. And each of these work package had a peer group associated with it, consisting of colleagues from various institutions, shown here on slides. The peers shared their approach, provide feedback and support decisions. These 3 sessions you can take out this afternoon are built on these 3 packages. We also reported our progress during the project to a project advisory board for feedback, progress control, and further decision making. And this advisory board consisted of these institutions here on slide. Then the first phase, the standard library registration or cataloging. So a part of this project was to catch up with the registration backlog of the artist monographs. Like you can see, 15,200 was the estimated number, and the estimated 2,200 monographs turned out to be 3,300. And during the cataloging, we also kept an Excel file where we enter all the information in the monographs we cataloged. And now they are cataloged. You can find them online in our online library catalog, Brocade. So it looks like this. And also on WorldCat for worldwide digital access. We also did a cleanup of the authority records of the institutions and artists. Also in Brocade occurred during the cataloging. So we entered a permalink with VFN or RKD. And we also checked the authority records of inconsisting or missing information. Now, the most important question, which of these publications or something more are to be considered a work of art or an artistic practice itself? So for this selection, we needed an extra expertise, so we collaborated with ArchiVolt. Like Anna already mentioned, a research group at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts includes Johan and Nicole Docks. During the hot summer of 2022, they physically browsed the artist monographs and Preciosa for several weeks. So they ended up with a selection of about 1,700 artist publications. So the diagram here on slides represents the subcollection artist publications. And as you can see, the biggest part of this subcollection artist publications are the artist monographs. So 80,318 artist monographs are also an artist publication. What was very interesting about this exercise, it was sometimes gems surfaced that we didn't know were special and just set among the collection of artist publications or in the documentations folders. This was also the case in the opposite direction. There were many ordinary artists publications or publications in the closed Preciosa cabinets that could actually just be kept in open cupboards. And yeah, the most important selection, that's important to say. So the most important selection criterion for ArchiVolt selection is that publications are created by artists. So this authorship by a visual artist or an artist collection can manifest itself in different forms. And ArchiVolt distinguished different types of artist publications. This is published in a manual you all have on your seat. And it's intended to recognize artist publications and guide through the 6 categories. So the first, and I think the most famous one, are the artist books. Publication, usually in book form, conceived as an artistic project by a visual artist or an artist collective. In its purest form, it's an artwork. And here we have an example of a book of Tim Ulrichs. It's a German artist we also have in our sculpture collection. The second type are the artist catalogs. So these are publications that are created in response to an event such as a performance, a lecture, or in this case, an exhibition. The artist directs and or designs the catalog. So this one is a exhibition catalog from Henk Fisch, also a collection, also an artist we have in collection. The third category are the artist magazines or zines. These are periodic publications produced, edited, and or designed by an artist or an artist collective. So these are a series of scenes from the New York artist Pat McCarthy. And what's special or what's typical about the zine is the DIY feel and look of it. The next category are the artist pages. These are contributions and or interventions by an artist, in this case, clearly Daniel Buren, in a publication such as a newspaper, a magazine, or an exhibition catalog, like in this case, from Prospect 69. This contribution can take many forms. The fifth category are the ephemera. Like I already mentioned, invitations, posters, mail art, flyers, etc. These are often designed and distributed by artists on the occasion of an exhibition or an artistic event. So in this case, it's an invitation of an exhibition from Peter Downsborough in the Middelheim Museum and was sent to us to the library in 1977. And then the last type are the audiovisual materials, such as music, sound work, films published, such as an LP, a DVD, or videotape, sorry. Often this audiovisual material is accompanied by a cover, a box, or a book designed by an artist. In this case, it's the artist Zege Rijers designed the cover and the sticker on the LP. The composer was Lee Ronaldo, and this LP was made on occasion of an exhibition. So, like Johan already mentioned, there was also a spin-off of our project. Oh, no, sorry, I forgot something to say. So the draft and the manual and definitions were shared during the first peer group. So this is the first peer group. Different colleagues presented their idea of what an artist publication is. Among other things, it became clear that each institution uses another definition. So here we see Evi Bert from MUCA telling more about the artist book in their collection, which is an artist book of Ed Rocher. So, like I already said, and like Johan already mentioned, there was also a spin-off of our project, which was a series of lectures initiated by them to introduce the topic and all its aspects to a wider audience. With a passion for artist publications, there were 5 public meetings here at the Academy where several artists, publishers, and collectors discussed their experiences with artist publications. Some of these talks were recorded, like this one. This one is the last one. Here you see Irma Boom, a Dutch bookmaker who's telling more about her practice. And like Anna already mentioned, during this afternoon, you can do a tryout of the identification manual with Johan and Nico. The second phase of this project was a sub-collection description and access. So an important part of this project was the description and access of the at collection level. So we used Cometa, and Cometa is a model for creating structured description at the collection level. It was technically implemented in Brocade, which is our library program, by the way, and done by adding a sigillum. In this case, it's a kind of digital mark. So I'm going to try to explain it because it's a little bit technical. So we decided to use 2 levels. You have one level, which is a general level sub-collection, general level artist publications. And because we have 2 types, like artist books and artist catalogs that are a very big part of this sub-collection, we decided to work with a second level for the artist books and the artist catalogs. So an artist book gets 2 marks, artist publication and artist book. And I took a screenshot to show it. So here you have, this is our online library catalog. So you have work of Peter Downsborough, 9 views. If you go to the bottom of the page, you see the orange frame. So collection artist books, collection publication. If you click on the URL, it gets you here, which is a description of the sub-collection artist publications. So you see here, I don't know, yeah. So here you have the description of the sub-collection, here the provenance, the age, the language, the location, materials, and so on. Here you see, that's interesting, the relation. So the collection, sub-collection artist publication is the mother of the sub-collection artist books and artist catalogs. So when you click on this URL, description in collection, you get this page, which are all the titles of the sub-collection artist publications in our collection. So now there are 1,735 titles, and you can do this at home as well, if you want. So we did this to virtually make this sub-collection visible for everyone, especially for the visitors of our website or our catalog. Then the second work package was the development of a data profile for the registration of artist publications. What's special about these publications is that, according to us, the Middelheim Museum, of course, they have a dual status. It's a publication and a work of art. So we sought out to find a data profile that reflects its dual identity in the registration to make this visible to the general public. So we started from the understanding of what an artist publication is, for which we used ArchiVolt's manual, and in combination with the physical artist publications in our own library collection. So for instance, here you see 4 publications. The one from Keynote, the back is in metal, the front is in this fake leather. It held together with screws. We also have a shoebox, which is an exhibition catalog. The work of Robert Villieu, also you can see it's shown in the little exhibition from Johan behind. So this work is held to, is a scroll, and the scroll and the little booklet are sitting in a box. Then we have an exhibition catalog from Ellen Capro, which also is held together with screws. Like you can see, there are some exceptional in terms of format and binding. Besides the physical characteristics, we also want to register aspects of collection management, such as storage, presentation, consultation, and conservation. And because of this dual status, we choose to start from existing invulboeken. It's difficult to translate it in English, but I will refer to them as manuals. And these manuals bring together multiple standards and collection management systems and provide description rules for registration. We made a mapping of the fields and elements from the manual publications and the manual objects that we believed were relevant to record. Eventually, we ended up with a combined data profile and discussed this extensively with colleagues from different institutions during a second peer group. The data profile was adapted and shared several more times, and this extended data profile became it's ideal data profile for the Middelheim Museum, and is our preferred choice. It's based on combined data sets and that's important, it tries to break free from existing separate registration systems. So we have this ideal data profile, but which system is able to contain and combine these combined data sets? The answer could be linked open data, but fortunately, that's not where we are today. So we ended up registering both data sets in separate modules of the same program, Brocade, we already use for our library cataloging. This is something I will discuss more in detail in a moment, but we are aware that most systems do not allow this combination. Therefore, we also created a second data profile, our so-called pragmatic data profile. And for this data profile, we only use the manual publications. The data files to describe the external characteristic, but also data on conservation and management are lacking in this manual. in our library system, we would have to write this information in a field that's not intended for this purpose. So both data profiles are published on CEST, which is a knowledge platform and cultural heritage standard toolbox for heritage institutions in Flanders. I would like to add that these data profiles are not fixed, and they can and need to be adjusted and refined in the future. In the afternoon, you can do a tryout too of the data profile registration in a session with my colleague Jasper and myself. The third phase was the object registration of the artist publications. So in consultation with the advisory board, we choose to register the artist publication at object level in our object module in Brocade. We choose this module rather than Excel collection, for example, for several reasons. So one of the reasons is that because both the object and the library module are supported by the same program, there is an easy link to make between them. So here we have a booklet, an artist book from Paul Maté, and this is what it looks like in our object module. So it's like registering an artwork. So we have the description, the title, picture of the cover, physical characteristics, dimension, material, techniques, condition, and so on. If you go to the bottom of the page in the orange frame, you see a link, and this link refers you forward you to the library description. And like you can see, here the description is totally different. It's focused on publication. So you have the title, the author, the publisher, and so on. So the user can click through from one description to another, revealing the dual status and providing more information about the physical characteristics of the piece. By also registering artist publications as an object, not only the dimensions, but also conservation and exhibition history would become visible. An additional advantage of this program is the new Flemish Oslo standard is taken into account, and this standard makes it easier to exchange data. In addition, almost every field is AAT bound in this module as well. I'm talking about the object module. So since there are 1,727 artist publications yet to be registered in the object module, this phase is currently ongoing and will likely continue after the completion of this project. Then the fourth and last phase is the creating digital copies and making them accessible. So for this part of the project, part of this project was the digitization of the ephemera, which are deemed to be artist publications. So we choose to work with a few case studies in light of timing and feasibility of the project. So 5 artists who have also a work in our museum collection and are known for making artist publications were selected. So here you can see Peter Downsborough, Tim Ulrichs, Chef Gijs, Denis Stevens, and Lawrence Weiner. The ephemera are postcards, invitations, contribution to a newspaper, a playing card, and leaflets. These documents are digitized according to the Metamorphose Light guidelines. These international guidelines guarantee optimal quality of the digital copy. And afterwards, we will make the digital file accessible on our digital asset management system, and the rights will need to be cleared according to our standardized workflow. So the advantage of these selected ephemera is that we work closely with the artist, the galleries, and the museum involved. So we hope that the clearing of the rights will be going smooth. This part of the project is still going on, and now Veerle is going to say something more about the third and last work package on conservation and management.
Thank you, Sara. So the third peer group, there we try to explore what is double identity of an artist publication means for its collection management. So what does it mean then? What are possibilities and limitations of this attribution, of this special status. Because until now in our library, and I already spoke to some people who testify this, most of our gems are just hidden between artist monographs on shelves, and no difference is made in their use or their conservation. Only some were considered as preciosa. It was fascinating to hear in the peer group the participating institutions on their best and worst practices for artist publications. And this is clearly closely connected to the specific mission of these institutions. The practices ranged from free consultation in open shelves to restricted access and climatized cabinets, or state-of-the-art dark storages forbidding any browsing. The same variety popped up when discussing physical labeling of books, of publications, and of securing books. So we will not come up with one hard set of rules to follow. Johan also, we will not try to manage it in one way, fortunately. It needs a lot of fine-tuning, but I think there's an interesting approach to look at in analogy with the acquisition of contemporary sculptures. I personally also think that it would be ideal to ask the artist also to describe their role in making a publication and capture these short interviews, which can inform the cataloging, but also include their views on intended use and conservation in the future. But this is not yet all common practice in the library. It is in our other collections yet, and it's not feasible yet. Also because it would exceed the capacity of our library staff totally. An inspiring topic in the peer group was also the potential of presenting artist publications as visual art objects. Kunstenbibliotheek Gent, Susanna is here. For instance, they facilitate temporary exhibitions and often in the Academy of Fine Arts. And this brings me back to the earlier quote by our former librarian about the need for physical browsing and consultation. Despite the priority given to digital cataloging, the physical browsing and consultation has also been a persistent dream of Marina Verhoeven, our fantastic librarian. And soon after her well-deserved retirement in January, this is to be fulfilled. Most of the publications will move to the collection pavilion, and this is a kind of an open depot storage where we facilitate the consultation and free accessible admiration of a selection of our fragile indoor collections. Most publications on, by, and with artists will be in open shelves, ready to be browsed on a non-structured and intuitive way for inspiration. Not all, of course, I cannot go into detail, but you will have the opportunity also to see them in dialogue with the drawings, with sculptures, or other documentation materials in small and flexible curated presentations. The collection pavilion is also open to all of our park visitors, also neighboring students from the University of Antwerp and hospital patient next door, because today we will welcome all kinds of birds in our collection. So the last words are for Sara, our new librarian.
So we gave a brief overview, but more details will reported on this project, the phase and the peer groups. This will be published on Faro in Assist. I also be glad to share things that went less smoothly, such as entering the artist publications into an object registration module, which is new, sometimes very difficult, but also very interesting. Other things that went smoothly, such as a collaboration with colleagues and the willingness to share expertise. I would like to thank everyone who answered all my tough questions and emails, as well as colleagues who were on the advisory board and the peer groups. And together we can conclude that the research on artist publications has really only just begun. The suggested definitions for identification are not fixed and will continue to evolve over time. The current selection depends on a moment of attributing significance by Nico and Johan, but value shifts in time and vary from your perspective. And what is certainly clear, in any case, artist publications resist categorization and challenge traditional museum and library practices. So, thank you for listening. If there are any questions, we would be happy to try to answer them. Are there any questions? Oh, okay.
I'm coming. Was wondering, maybe I missed it, but which program you use for your object module? Is that also Brocade or is it something else?
Brocade. It's a new model of Brocade, which was created for Kunst op de Campus. Tom? Sorry. Yeah, it was created for the Rusbroek-genootschap in Kunst op de Campus.
And is there a link? Wait, how do you ask? Is there a link between the object collection and the publication collection too? So if you browse to your collection, museum collection, is there also a link with the books?
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for the you mean for the sculpture collection?
Yeah.
We work in Axial collections, but there also the links are made with our Brocade system. So there are links with the digital asset management system and also with Brocade. So when you would browse now in the search collection Middelheim page, you will also see the biography of publications in our library, and you can click on them and then you arrive in Brocade. So the systems are connected. Yeah, the way how to do that, Jasper there is a specialist in that. I'm not a digital wizard here. So Jasper makes these links between the art collections and between the publications also.
I think Ineke was asking if there is a link between the publications as catalogued and between the publications.
Not yet, no.
Yeah, well, but
at the moment there's only a link between the object module and the cataloging system, and not in the reversed way.
Okay, but there is still a link already.
Yeah.
Thank you for your brilliant presentation and bravo for a tremendous work.
Thank you.
Congratulations, applause. I was having a pragmatical question. I believe that the catalog will be in open access. What about the publication of the visual material and clearing all the rights with all the estates of all the artists that are presented by your catalog?
It's a good question. It's also something we addressed in the beginning. When we did our first project on exhibiting on our catalogs, we started with the Biennale catalogs, and in each catalog, more than 100 or 200, Marina, artists are represented in there. And it took us months to clear the rights just to make a digital copy and make it accessible online for one catalog. And we had, fortunately, the help of one specialist in the Central Museum Organization whose full-time job is to clear the rights for our collection. And we made a flow. The workflow is also, to clear the rights, is also published on CEST, so you can consult how we do this. But already Johan also mentioned it, it's really an opposite policy of cultural heritage is pushed towards open access digitization and then authors' rights, and that legislation is restricting that access completely, and we pay fortunes also just to access it on our website. So I hear many colleagues also in Flanders wanting to bring this to a higher policy level and to discuss it. Maybe it's a shared topic you all struggle with. So it would be interesting also to hear others, to hear other colleagues how to approach this. Or Saskia, do you want to add something on that? Or
Saskia Scheltjens, Rijksmuseum. Yeah, the Rijksmuseum has a totally different approach and a totally different situation. We can afford to open our collection because we don't have a lot of those copyright issues. So I think, yeah, that I sympathize with the dilemmas that you have, and I think it's a good idea to take it to a higher level, because I think not only in Flanders, but I think in France as well, and in Germany, there's a lot of discussions there as well. So yeah, please do.
Artists want their work to be visible online, most of them. No? Okay. Yeah, it depends. But even if they say it's okay, we have to pay the sabam and we have to pay a lot of, yeah. So let's form like, maybe we have to form a European lobby committee or something. Yeah. Let's let's do that together. Yeah.
Not reply, but well, you know, we at MEMO are also doing a lot of projects about digital access and rights clearing and stuff like that. But I actually wanted to state that I'm also very happy that you talked about this browsing and discovering, like, and be inspired at something that you kind of see in that you weren't searching for, but you kind of look and wow, this is something new I didn't expect. I'm very happy that you looked into linked open data in this project, because this is maybe the big wish, to be able to do that digitally. So if linked open data principles could be reality, you know, I wish this is for me something that will make it possible to browse and discover the collections in a digital context. So yes. So I'm very happy you also did that in this project. Yeah.
At the level of the city organization of museums, Annelies Velgaren is trying to get to this linked open data level and then get a further connection of all the collections from the different institutions. And then you ignore these silos of system, and you ignore the silos and the contained restraints of institutions as well. Yeah.
I think this is an interesting discussion for some of the more technical minded library people here, but I would like to add that raising this to a linked data level isn't not a solution in itself. What you then will have is discussions about standards. How do you bring your library data from MARC to BIP frame, for example, your collection data to a linked art format. So those are complicated discussions. Just saying bringing to linked data isn't a solution.
Hello, my name is Evie Bert from MUCA, and I would like to state that it's a tricky situation to digitize artist publications. From MUCA on, I would like to state that we are not much in favor to do so, because you bring an artwork into another medium, I would say. So we are very careful with that, and we are not in favor to do so. So not only for the author rights and the workload of clearing the rights, but to bring an artwork into another sphere makes it difficult.
Yeah, I agree also for part, because it's also like transforming, making a copy in another material, like another medium. And I think the discussion is different from our exhibition catalogs, where people are really looking for the information and for the pictures, and this is being consulted from the information value is higher than its artistic value. So I think it differs from your assessment of significance of what it is and how it needs to be consulted. Or it can be, in some cases, a preservation strategy, but that's another discussion. And maybe Alison also will touch on this topic. Alison, yeah, we're going to discuss this further, because we're both fascinated by the topic also on facsimiles and copies of publications and artwork. So, yeah. So anyone interested in this topic also following the session with Alison?
Back the phone. we've been talking about copyrights, we've been talking about visibility, we have been talking about other dimensions of the work, the physicality. What are your thoughts about this type of operation in terms of process of the publication? In the 60s, artists were trying to escape the mechanics of art market, trying to make the books available to everyone. Do you think this digitalization is in a similar way making accessible something that might be closed in boxes or that needs to be preserved in a specific type of temperature for many conservative reasons? Do you think that this could have a new development in the way we perceive, like the way we look at books? Losing the physicality can bring something else?
Yeah, thanks for the question, which is, it was a bit in the topic where I was on conservation and management, but of course it was too short to elaborate on this. But this is what I wanted to say also, when maybe we should shift methodologies also, like how we deal with acquiring works of art in our collection, where we pay attention to what's the intention of the artist, also on this accessibility and also on this durability. And I noticed even during the talks with Johan and Nico, like Sophie Nice, she said, I don't care, it can disappear, it can, I don't want it to be preserved, or others want it to be reprinted, or say you have a facsimile, you browse it. So I think it would be interested to be inspired by other disciplines also, how to approach this collection. But when the artist is not there, of course, we should stick to, but maybe I'm not really answering your question, or
No, I
partly.
think it is.
And like, I think digitization is not the solution of preserving this incredible, valuable heritage. It was the approach of our project, because it was subsidized by the program for digitization. And I really believe that you should know first what you're talking about. And it was a way for us to get into the house all the expertise on artists' publications that we had here in Antwerp with Johan and Nico, and also between the colleagues. It enabled us to get the expertise in-house, because if we have expertise, it's more sculpture. But I agree, it's not, the focus isn't there, and that's why I wanted to end at the end also in the possibility or the potential of presenting these to our general public, the visitors of our park. It's a free park, also to seeing this as artistic practices in themselves, like on an equal level as a sculpture. And it offers a more complete view on how sculpture has been developed, on how art and public art has been developing from the 1870s until now, than our collection in the park. So it's a more, and from a sustainability point of view, the initial aim of the museum was to have an encyclopedic collection demonstrating international sculpture from the beginning till now. But then, first of all, international was seen as European male artists, Italian and Spanish sculptors. So super limited. They never succeeded in this encyclopedic view. And are we really wanting to continue this encyclopedic ambition? No. But our park is full. The park is a sensitive green infrastructure. Maybe it's more interesting to see also the library also not only as a research topic, but sometimes replacing these physical manifestations of public sculptures and of physical sculptures in the park, which are temporary and can disappear. And then the documentation and the publications will be in the library. In the case of conceptual art, Peter Dansborough, his work is in the library. It's not outdoors. So I think it's super interesting to see this in connection.
And just to close up, I noticed in the presentations we had until now, this relationship with the institution where the library is. our library is in a museum, but there are also libraries that are attached to educational institutions. And what is the role? What is the different? How we take differently those things in consideration? It's an open question that maybe we can answer back later. So I suggest a quick break. We will come back at 11:30. It's a bit out of program to manage to have all the presentation ready. So please enjoy some coffee, water. Let's have a break and come back at 11:30.